We have 12 players to break down before waiver claims process on Wednesday as the 2024 NFL season progresses. That's 2 tight ends, 4 running backs, 4 wide receivers, and 2 quarterbacks for your consideration for the best waiver wire additions. We got injuries from Jordan Mason, Aaron Jones, Dallas Goedert, MHJ, Chris Olave, Wicks, Rashad White, Derek Carr, and buys for the Chicago Bears and Dallas Cowboys. We'll go position by position, and from the most viable to pure desperation, from tight ends, running backs, wide receivers, to quarterbacks. Don't skip unless you're a hopeless, uncultured swine. I'm going to start it off with tight ends and Hunter Henry, 25%. We've harped about him a few times. The tight end landscape is a war zone, but with Drake May, this really gets turned up a notch or two. 41 yards and a tutty is about all you can ask for or hope for a tight end, and Henry did that. May, who we'll get to later, really gives this offense a chance and needs to be taken seriously for fantasy production. Juwan Johnson, 6%. Chris Olave is going to miss, and we saw Johnson benefit with increased volume. 48 yards is decent enough for a tight end in fantasy. A touchdown would have been the cherry on top, but regardless, he's done pretty well in his last 2 games. He can keep it up for another week thanks to the vacated volume from Olave. That's your type tight end waivers. Let's do the running backs. Isaac Gurindo. Jordan Mason sprained his AC joint. He's considered day-to-day. Gurindo is clearly the next man up and proved to be plug and play with 99 yards, 76 of which came from a long burst. He's seriously contending for RB1 status if he becomes a starter with Mason out. Sean Tucker, 0%. Sean who? Sean, I went for 1,000 yards in my last 2 college years, and you're not going to forget that now. Tucker. That's who. No White. And Bucky splits with him, and Tucker makes the most of his opportunity. With White missing, he gets the chance to repeat, okay? Albeit a tempered 192-yard performance. If White returns, I don't know. We could see an ugly 3-headed backfield. Tyler Algier, 40%. I don't care what your favorite fantasy football content creator says about Bijan Robinson. I'm talking to you, Mason, and all the copies. This is a split backfield, okay? Yes, Bijan had his second top 6 performance in his entire career this past game. But anyone watching Falcons football games sees they have no intention of giving Bijan 30 carries a game like Kyren Williams. Algier goes for 105 yards on 18 attempts. How can you ignore this type of production and usage? Stop the cap. Ty Chandler, 35%. Aaron Jones looks like even after the bye, he's probably going to miss week 7. Meaning Ty Chandler has a real chance to benefit from the volume that'll come from being their only back. Can be a safe spot start for you, at least for now. And if you're hurting an RB, you could definitely do worse. He's on the Vikings. Good offense. Those 4 options are your best. Let's look at wide receivers. Obviously, if Josh Downs, Darius Slayton, Romeo Doubs, any of those guys are available, they are your number 1 waiver target, okay? But they're all over 50% or more roster percentage across platforms. So that being said, let's get into the sicko dives, okay? Mario Douglas, 14%. Drake May relied on the slot receiver just like he relied on Josh Downs in college in the same exact role. He led the Pats 6 for 9 and 92 yards and a touchdown. Instantly a viable fantasy option with this new and improved Patriots offense. Christian Watson. We finally get to see those explosive plays from last year and the end zone. He went for 68 yards and the tutty. Wicks is sidelined with a shoulder injury. I mean, look, Love spreads the ball around, but Watson has a chance to be a full-time player now, okay? He could do much worse. Michael Wilson, 27%. MHJ is out. Without Marvin, they suffered, okay? But it's next man up mentality. It creates fantasy waiver opportunity. Wilson is their number 1 for now. They are definitely not as scary with MHJ out. But look, we're just looking for opportunity and points, and Wilson will have to be relied upon by Kyler and the Cards if they want to compete until Marvin returns. And Bub Means, 0%. Olave is going to miss, and even with Carr out, Rattler put Means to work, soaking up volume in an attempt to keep the offense functional. And even though they got boat raced, they did pretty well. Bub Means came in to play 71% of snaps, was targeted 8 times for 45 receiving yards, and even worked for a tutty in his first full-time start as a rookie. Not bad. Not bad at all. I mean, come on, what are we talking about? One position left, 2 players. Drake May, here we go. 14%, baby. The Patriots are still bad in real life, okay? But for fantasy, Drake May, in his first career start, posted 243 yards and 2 passing touchdowns and 38 rushing yards to put him at 20 fantasy points, okay? He instantly elevates irrelevant players for fantasy from nothing to viable. And he himself, for perspective, he finished ahead of Jaden Daniels, Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow, and CJ Stroud. What else can I say? And here we go again with Knicks. Look, he finished this week just ahead of Drake May, and obviously everybody else that we just mentioned. He's had 4 out of 6 games now with 200 to 250 passing yards and at least 2 passing tutties in his last 2 weeks. He's improving, okay? The offense is functioning. And we can safely say that while the Broncos aren't world beaters, Knicks at least can save you a fantasy matchup if you're in a tough spot with a lackluster quarterback performance across the league. And remember, Bo Nix loves Sean Payton, and Sean Payton loves Bo Nix. These 12 players are the most viable options based off Week 6 production, availability, and outlook. If you had an injury or want depth, target one of these guys on the waiver wire and let me know in the comments who and why. If this was useful, like the video and subscribe. Turn on post notifications so you stay prepared for Sunday. That's the video. Watch some more videos.